This is the What's Cooking Show Weekend Edition, the show that brings you news from food, wine, travel, entertainment, and more for you. I'm Michael Horn along with Paul Stern. Joining us on the show, Georgia Berlin is here. She has written a book called In Search of Neverland. This is...
Gloria Berlin.
Yeah, Gloria, that's what I said. Gloria Berlin. She has written In Search of Neverland. This is the first anniversary of the death of the King of Pop, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1 year has gone by already, and we... You know, Michael Jackson was out to do that new tour. This is it. I saw the movie. It looked like it was going to be a wonderful show. It is, you know, a loss for not only the Jackson family, but for all the fans and lovers of Michael Jackson and his music. Gloria, welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, I'm so delighted to be here for the King of Pop.
Hey, yes. Now you've written this book. What is this book, In Search of Neverland? What do you talk about, Gloria Berlin?
I talk about making Michael's dreams come true, and being that I was a friend of his since he was a child of 12 years old when I met him at his estate in Encino, and he was a Jackson 5. My son used to play with the Jackson 5 basketball at their estate, so I used to have to go and get him, and they didn't have a big black gate up their driveway, so I would drive in yelling and hollering for my son, "Willie, Willie, where are you?" And that's how I met the Jacksons. Catherine came out and told me he was hiding under a bush over there.
Wait a second. Now, I've heard stories about Michael Jackson, and everybody, I won't say everybody, because I don't want to stereotype, but I've talked to even famed people like Rick Dees, and the first time they actually met Michael, he was always hiding somewhere. He was hiding in the jungle gym at Neverland Ranch when Rick Dees and his family first met him. People always said he was off in the corner when they first met him, jumping up, looking through the window to kind of take a look at him. Was this kind of a way that he greeted people at first, was kind of trying to check them out without going formally up and shaking their hands?
Well, sometimes he wanted to be private because he was creating music. He was writing lyrics. After all, he was a brilliant talent. And when you're writing, you have to keep people away from you or stay away from people so you can focus on what you're doing and not lose your trend of thought, whether you're composing or writing music or even doing choreography.
So was he shy? Was he that shy of a guy?
No, sometimes he was just like... he would retreat.
Gotcha. So he would retreat back in. So now you sold him this ranch, this Neverland Ranch, and we've talked to a chef couple that were on the ranch at one point, and this is a huge property, this Neverland Ranch. Is it still...
100 acres that backs up to the Los Padres National Forest.
1,000 how many acres?
Oh, 2,000.
2,000 acres. And he lived about...
700 acres.
So it's 1,700 acres?
Oh, 2,000.
Oh, okay, now I got you. 2,700 acres. Now, you sold this to him. He had this for how many years? About 5, 7, 10? How many?
How long did he keep it?
Yeah.
Well, he bought it in 1988, and
wow.
He even owns a quarter of it now. He sold 3/4 of it to AEG Capital. Ron Barrick, that, Colony Capital owns AEG, and they bought 3/4 of the ranch to help Michael restore his financial picture. So
he still, the family still owns the portion where the housing was on and the...
houses, yeah, he owns the English Tudor Mansion and the recreation house and the swimming pool and the lake in front of it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I have heard that there was talk among the staff and everything, maybe Michael Jackson, but no one ever asked him about it, that the guy that had this before, when he sold it, just took this check from Michael Jackson and got in the car and drove off and left all his furnishings, even his valuable wines, just left them there and took off, the guy that had it before.
A deal was made that the house was bought as a turnkey operation.
Oh.
And everything was to be left. Mr. Bone only removed his linens, his personal clothing, and his beautiful horses that he and his family rode, and left, including the animals and all the farming equipment, ranching equipment. It was a completely turnkey operation. It was the English Tudor Mansion plus 5 other residences.
Now,
it wasn't like an Amityville horror thing where some guy was trying to escape from like a property that was somehow...
Well, I don't think it's an Amityville horror thing, but I have heard stories, Gloria Berlin, that the place had some hauntings from time to time, that there were things seen because part of it was built on an Indian burial ground. Had you ever heard of any of that?
No, I have not. And some people have made these stories up, I guess. Now they're claiming that Michael Jackson is haunting the estate, which I doubt.
Well, wait a second. This chef saw some things. Some things happened while Michael wasn't there, but they would talk to some of the security people, and there were reports that things were seen. But Michael never reported any of that to you. I mean, you never got it from any family members?
No, I never got it from Michael or any family members. It's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of interesting there. But, originally...
it's an Indian burial grounds, part of it.
There was. And Michael, did he bring this back to Luster and make it like a mini, it was called Neverland, like a mini Disneyland? I've heard that story, that it had animals on it and a train ride and everything?
Yes. Michael brought all of his animals. Michael had like an LA zoo over here in Encino and Havenhurst. And he was cited by the Animal Regulation Department because a python got out of his bedroom and went swimming in the neighbor's pool next door.
My.
And then the neighbors called the Animal Regulation Department, which began citing Michael on a daily basis, and they were threatening to impound the animals and take them to the LA Zoo because he had giraffes, reindeer, llamas. He loved reindeer. We had quite a few of those, and then he had chimpanzees and monkeys and swans.
And all those went to Neverland Ranch?
Everything went to Neverland Ranch from Havenhurst, including his own personal furnishings.
Wow.
He moved out when the family wasn't there because he didn't want them to know he was moving out.
So that's...
Lock and barrel out of the Havenhurst Avenue Encino compound.
We're talking to Gloria Berlin. The book is called In Search of Neverland. And so you wrote the book kind of to give a look at what Michael was in search of, the fact that he wanted fun.
He wanted a private place. And he named it Neverland after his favorite fairy tale. In Peter Pan, there's an island called Neverland.
So a lot of his fans, and for us, this is the anniversary and a sad time for a lot of us, sad time ever since he's been gone, but a lot of fans think that maybe Neverland should be open so people could actually get closer to Michael Jackson and see it. Do you think that will ever happen? I know Michael wanted to be private, but now it would be a place to share kind of what Michael's dream was, to have this place. Do you think that will ever happen?
He built it as a paradise for children, and he built also a special hospital for the children who were terminally ill on the ranch.
Really? I never knew that. So there was like a medical facility there.
There was a medical facility for children that were dying of cancer.
Wow. So do you think that...
Michael did a lot of beautiful things that people don't talk about.
Yeah, they don't. They always like to go in to see if they get...
Hospitals, and he loved children, and he built Neverland as a paradise for children. And when Michael bought this ranch, he did not have children. And I asked him, what are you going to do with a 2,700-acre ranch for a man all alone at the age of 27, unmarried? You're a single, unmarried man. What are you going to do with this entire property? He said, I'm going to adopt 29 children.
Well, he was on his way. Do you think it'll be open to the public ever?
It's possible because it's the most magnificent paradise, and it should be shared with the world, and it would bring great revenue to the state of California. And it's anticipated it might become a museum and a theme park that people from all over the world can visit.
Gloria Berlin, tell us where we can... Yes, I would love to see it, too.
Let's get the book.
How can we get the book In Search of Neverland?
You get it off the internet, Amazon.com.
Or bookstores anywhere, Amazon.com, bookstores anywhere. Gloria Berlin, the author of the book, is In Search of Neverland. We'll be back. Come to the